What are you doing, G. Martinez? Always on the under. Hey, everybody, welcome. NorCal Sports Network. And the Giants, oh boy, take it on the chin, 4-0. They left not only their hearts in San Francisco, they left their bats somewhere in Bodega Bay, I think. I mean,
that should be a song, Bats in Bodega Bay. I like that.
Man, I'm telling you, I don't know where they left their bats. Maybe back in what, 2002? Maybe 2002. That's where the last Giants team that really smoked the ball, right? I mean, even their World Series championships, they didn't smoke the ball. But, hey, guys, welcome, everybody. Low Steve joins us tonight. And, we got a B delay going on in Arizona.
I saw that.
In the Dodger game. Yeah. This was a tough one because
Logan Webb. I don't know what happened, man.
Yeah.
I expected him. He's been doing good, and I was like, okay, we should be no problem. Get the 500. Nope.
That's baseball.
Nope.
Yeah. I don't know if this team eventually will reach 500, I think, but they're going to be chasing it all year, up and down, up and down. I don't see them going, 3, 5, 6 over 500. I don't know. It just looks like a team that's gonna, and you can't hit. There's holes in the lineup. We said it from the beginning. We're not jump on the bandwagon type people here at NorCal Sports Network. We tell it like it is. I told you this lineup was weak. In fact, I'll tell you what this lineup looks like. This lineup looks like, to me,
looks like your picture.
No, it kind of does. Kind of does.
What are you trying to say, Dad?
I'm trying to say that this lineup, I think a Pirate could hit better than – I think a one-eyed Pirate can hit better than this club.
Oh, my God.
Come on. How do these guys not hit
Yeah,
at
the
all?
lineup is garbage, man. The lineup is garbage.
I mean, send a guy up there like this, man. That's what Soler looks like.
Yeah, he's guessing, isn't he?
Let's
bring up the box score here.
Man, 4 hits, 2 in the ninth.
Yes.
Gosh. Yeah.
Man, there's a lot of zeros over here. Hold on one second.
At a hitter's ballpark.
In a hitter's ballpark, correct. Very good. Exactly, Los. And I thought, hey, if the lineup, if they're going to get going, this is where you want to get going, right? And look what they did. Threw up a big stinker. Look at that. Lee with no hits. Wade with no hits, but with a walk. Flores had 1 hit. Chapman had 1 hit and 1 strikeout. Conforto had 1 hit and 1 strikeout. Bailey, 0-4 with 2 strikeouts. Soler, 1 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. Estrada, 0 for 3 with 1 strikeout. Yastrzemski, 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. And Ahmed, 0 for 3.
How's that for a night? How's that for a line? Get up twice, strike out twice, and the other time you get hit in the hand. Ouch.
And then you got the Red Sox, man. They had 2
Red
guys.
Red Sox can hit, man. I'm telling you. They got speed. They run the bases. They even guys you don't even expect steal bases. The Giants don't play any kind of ball like that. I'm telling you, I talked to a guy today. In fact, I was talking to Ryan Hensley. I was on a little show of his today, which will be airing later in the week, probably. But we were talking a little bit about baseball. I says, "You a Giants fan?" He says, I like the Giants, but I just can't watch the games on TV. I'll watch the playoffs and but games are boring. And I had to agree with him. I mean, you don't need to watch this club. If you got the rewind, you can just boom, boom, boom. How fast was the top of the first?
Yeah, it was pretty quick.
Was it like less than 3 minutes?
God, I'm not even sure.
Pull up the first inning and see how many pitches the guy in the Red Sox threw.
Oh yeah, he was very efficient.
Just the first inning. Just the
7.
first inning.
Guessing 7.
Let me see. Let me take a gander here. Oh,
you know what? You know what the Houston Astros did today, guys? Did you guys hear what the Astros did?
mm-mm.
Jose Abreu, right? Pretty good player. Struggling.
He's struggling.
What did they do? They asked him if he would go down or be released, and he accepted. The Giants need to do the same thing with Slater. Come on. You're saying Austin Slater's better than Jose Abreu? Winning organizations don't waste time. They don't waste games. You're wasting games right now when you're losing these winnable games, and it comes down to losing out on the playoffs by 1 or 2 games. You're going to look back and say, man, we should have.
But here's the problem.
A little more serious.
Slater didn't play today, though. So it would have been a non-factor.
Yeah,
you have to get rid of Yaz and Slater if you want to get someone.
I agree, but they're not gonna
That's the problem. They're not gonna do that.
Is the Giants just don't they're not an organization that places winning at its highest priority, because you're floundering around right now. I guarantee you that when it comes down to September, it's gonna be within a game or two, and they're gonna look back and say, yeah, we jerked around and we kept our best minor league prospect, guy that's raking the ball. We left him in the minors because we wanted to see if Slater and Yaz can get off the schneid. And so we wanted to give him time. Winning organizations don't waste time. They just don't. This is what Farhan does. He is more concerned. If you got options, that is the priority, not winning. Options.
Correct, Dan. Yes.
Options are the priority.
Yes. And just like, go ahead, Los. Go ahead.
I was going to say, he wants to be right more than he wants to win. He's looking at his own personal, status or platform. Like, I want to prove. I hear all the noise. I hear all the things saying about 2021 was a fluke, and that the way I do it, my analytics way, and firing scouts to start, I'm going to prove people wrong. And if that means keeping guys up that everybody thinks it's like the more noise he hears about doing it one way, he goes the other. That's he's trying to do it his way and proving people wrong.
And Dan, perfect example is, and to your point too, is Los, is they're not going to make a move on the 40-man, right, to bring up a better pitcher. So you're going to bring up
Jeffries tomorrow.
Hey, that's what I was going to say. Instead of bringing up Black,
yep,
they don't want to make that 40-man move.
No, they want to bring up a guy who's not going to be around. Dalton Jeffries is a fill-in. Instead of playing the best player, I'm glad you brought up that, because I thought that as I was driving today when I heard Jeffries was pitching tomorrow. I thought to myself, they're not going to bring up Black because he's not on the roster 40-man, and they don't want to use a 40-man spot, and they're going to possibly waste a game. Possibly. Now, Jeffries could shine tomorrow, and it could work out. That's how baseball goes. But I expect them right now. I'm leaning sweep right now to Boston, because
the way that the lineup is producing.
Who's pitching tomorrow for the Red Sox? They got Crawford.
Yeah, Crawford, one of their better.
And
as a matter of fact,
he's one of the top 10 pitchers, I think, right now, isn't he? Stat-wise,
the Boston Red Sox are the number one starting pitching team this month. So,
this year, because this month.
The first month, yeah.
For the first, right now they are number one in overall pitching, number one in starting pitching, 10th in relieves. Does this tell you something then?
Does it tell you that this lineup can't match up to the better pitching then?
No, they can't. And anytime you want to beat the Giants, just throw somebody never seen before. I mean, this is a pathetic lineup. And you know what? This is pretty much the same lineup except for Lee, Soler, and Chapman. Because Ahmed and Crawford, to me, are just interchangeable.
They're interchangeable. I see what you're saying.
Okay, yeah. So I don't see much difference. And this is the lineup that couldn't hit for the last 3 months of the season last year.
Right.
And Gabe Kapler kept saying, they're going to come around. They're going to come around. And I said, no, they're not. And then They're going to come around. And then reporters would ask, what makes you think they're going to come around? Oh, their history, their pedigree, their history. Well, their history the last few years is showing Yaz has declined every year since he came into the league.
Yes.
19 was his rookie season. And then he had this somewhat, magical 60-game season.
60 games.
Yeah, exactly. And then, what has he done? He's tailed off. Slater's tailing off. Conforto's having a little bit better year. Lee's first year, and he's having to make adjustments. He'll be fine. I'm not worried about Lee. He's not your problem. Your problem is the middle of the order cannot drive in any runs, and they don't have a good hitter to bat second. They don't have anybody. They move their second hole guy around like it's just hot potato or something. Nobody wants to take the second spot in the lineup and run with it. They don't have a natural second place hitter.
No, they don't.
They really don't have a 3-hitter.
And Estrada's fallen off because he was a decent 2-hitter in the last couple of years. But this year, the guy, I don't know what it is.
And your 4-hitter, you don't have a 4-hitter either because Solaire's not hitting.
He ain't doing nothing.
And you don't have a 5-hitter.
Chapman.
What do they have in the lineup?
Starting pitch. No, the lineup.
Jung-Hoo
Lee, right?
I think you got Jung-Hoo Lee who hits the ball, but you can't expect Jung-Hoo Lee to carry him. If Jung-Hoo Lee hits over 275 this season, it's a really good first year.
Yes.
And
and Bailey right now, he's the best hitter right now on the team. Bailey is.
Well, Bailey is streaky. And I expect Bailey to come way back down to earth. I expect Bailey to end up in the 240 range. I really do. Now, I hope he surprises me and hits 260 plus, and he could, maintain it. But because Murphy can't hit, they're wearing out Bailey. This is Bailey's fourth straight game.
Yep. Eddie says, with this sorry ass line, it almost feels like we got no hit. Well, they get no hitted until the fifth inning.
Yeah.
So
they're did you ever look up the first inning, how many pitches he threw?
16.
Oh, was that many? Okay. Yeah. I thought it was a lot quicker. But I just think this team is really, really, Los, you hit it on the head. We said it. I said 83 wins. You said somewhere around there, but you had a caveat to it. You said 75, I think, to 78 if they go with this existing roster, if they don't bring up Ramos, Matos, and Luciano. Two of those three. And I think it was Luciano was one of them, and then one of Matos or I'd like to see all three of them brought up personally, and I'd like to see Schmidt brought up, but you're stuck. You're locked into Chapman, and Chapman's hitting 222. And I'm telling you guys, I told you this, he is not going to hit over 235 this year. I just don't see it. I think he's predominantly where he's at right now. He's at 222. He's right in his wheelhouse, so to speak. He's in his wheelhouse. That's his area. He's a 220 to 240 hitter. In fact, he could be as low as a 200 hitter. He hit 1 year 202, I believe.
It was something like that.
Or 205, 210, somewhere like that. I'm going to look him up and pull his stats up because he's had some awful years at the plate.
This is the epitome of a 500 team. You're probably not going to see the way the roster is constructed now. You're not going to see many 8-game or 9-game winning streaks or 8-game or 9-game losing streaks. Correct. This is what you're going to get all year. You're going to get win 2, lose 3, win 1, lose 4, win 3, lose 1. It's just going to be like that all year long. Their pitching is going to keep them at 500, but their hitting is also going to keep them at 500, unfortunately.
You're exactly right. You're exactly right. And here's what I was talking about right there, guys. Matt Chapman, 2021, 202 strikeouts, hit 210, had a gosh, move out of that way. What, this thing's right in my way. 716 OPS. Hit 27 homers, but only 72 RBIs. And why 27 homers and 72 RBIs? Because he couldn't hit and drive in runs with homers are, it's a rarity. It's about 1 out of generally, what's a good home run hitter ratio? 1 out of like 12, 1 out of 10 at bats.
1 out of 10 to 12. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a pretty good power hitter. But most home run hitters, I'll bet you Chapman, I'm just going to guess that's probably about 1 out of 17, 1 out of 18. 27 divided by 529. 27 divided by 529 is, 529, 27, do it the other way. 1 out of 19. Yeah. So can you keep it on here for a second, Dan? I want to point something out to everybody. That when you're looking at this, you're looking all over the place at different stats. When I look at batting like this on a player, and I look at the history of the player, the first thing I look at is strikeouts versus walks. Mm-hmm. So look at his 21 season. He struck out 202 times, he walked 80. The next season, he struck out 170 and he walked 68. I mean, he's striking out 3 times more than he walks. Then go over to his home runs and his RBIs. If you look at in 2019, he hit 36 homers. It's a lot of homers. When you hit 36 homers,
juice ball.
You should yeah. You should have
about the juice ball season. Yeah.
You should have about 110, 115 RBIs.
Absolutely.
See, when we were arguing about this guy before the season, and the 3 of us pretty much said we don't want him. He's an okay player, but we want to roll with Casey. The reason we didn't want him is you just look at these numbers. And now that we're seeing him play every day, for everybody that wanted Chapman and said, oh my God, we got to have this guy. We've got to have this guy. Okay, he's exactly as advertised. Glove is really good, but with men in scoring position, he is not going to come through 8 or 9 times out of 10. He's not. He's not going to give you a sac fly, second and third one out. He's not going to get that single to get home 2 runs. To me, that's the difference between an average player and a very good player. He is not a good hitter, and these stats prove it. So why everybody wanted him so badly, including Farhan and management, and to give him the contract that he did at 18 to 20 million is just doesn't make any sense.
We harped on it, and I said,
I think Melvin wanted him too, though, right?
Yeah, Melvin wanted him, of course, because he knew. But this is the problem with this organization, and frankly, it just pisses me off. It really pisses me off. I'll tell you why. Because Casey Schmidt was your 2nd round pick in 2020. You only had 5 rounds to select that year because of COVID, and he came out of college out of San Diego State, and he was considered the next Matt Chapman with the glove. That was the comparison. That was his comp. And you drafted him, and what did he do? You sent him to the minors, and he won 2 Gold Gloves in the minors. So he was showing his glove off. Then you bring him up last year, and because you got J.D. Davis and Crawford's not hitting, you put him at shortstop. So now he's learning a position he's never played. And that affects a guy's hitting, because when you haven't played a position and it's shortstop, probably the most important position on the diamond, you've got to really put your focus and energy and really just go all in at learning that position. Then you move him over to second base, and he's playing another position, and he struggles at the plate, and you send him down. And he works on himself. He comes back up, and he starts showing like, hey, he made some adjustments. He's taking pitches. He's actually getting on base on balls. And then at the very end of the season, he hits 2 home runs. Yeah, it's the last game of the season. But you know what? He showed growth. He was showing promise. He goes down to the minors this year. He has pretty rough spring. Goes down to the minors. Gets off to a slow start. But now he hits another home run tonight. What is that, number 6?
5 or 6?
5 or 6. He's hitting, pull his numbers up. I bet he's hitting close to 300 or higher. So he gets going. Now you think about this, guys. You drafted him. He's not a 12th round pick, a 17th round pick. He's not a guy that you go, oh, he's playing over his head. He's a 2nd round pick. He was the 49th pick player selected in the entire draft. And he's an older kid. He's not 21 or 22. The 49ers just made a whole draft pick of 24 and 25-year-old guys that have been playing college football 4 to 6 years. Why? Because they want guys who are ready to step in. Because you know what? You can have a lot of talent and be 20 years old like Jonathan Kuminga, but it takes a while to learn the game. Okay? It's just a fact. Guys that play longer and are older are usually a little bit more developed. Maybe they don't have as high of a ceiling as a young 20-year-old, but they're ready to play. Casey's ready to play. And you sign Matt Chapman to 3 one-year contracts. And if he sucks, what is he going to do? He's going to opt back in. Yep. He's going to opt right back in. And now you got Matt Chapman for 2025, and you got another year to figure out what you're going to do with Casey Schmidt. And you're going to, what are you going to do? Bring him up and play shortstop and then block Luciano now? You know what? The idea is do what the rest of Major League Baseball is doing. If you haven't noticed, most of the good teams and even the teams that are building, they're playing their young guys. It's a young man's game. It's a game that is generally guys that are under 30 are the ones that are performing. And there's guys that are stars that perform well over 30, like Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts, and there's guys out there. But I'm telling you, there's a lot of inconsistency when guys get a little older too. Look at Aaron Judge. He signed that fat contract. How long ago did he sign that contract? 2 years ago?
2 years ago.
He hasn't been the same.
Nope.
I'll tell you what, this front office really, I keep hearing the reference to track record and history. This front office focuses so much on what people have done in the past and not what they're going to do in the future. They really do. I keep thinking back to that line Billy Beane told David Justice in Moneyball, a movie that Eric will never see. So that's why I always quote it, so I can give him little tidbits here and there.
Get out of here.
But he said, I want to squeeze the last bit of good baseball out of you. And that's almost like what Farhan is doing. Like, I want to squeeze what little you have left, Chapman, what little you have left, Yaz, what little you have, Slater, what little you have, maybe, Wade's playing well, Flores. Wilmer Flores is not exactly hitting, and he's supposed to be like really, really, really good hitter. So,
Correct.
Farhan in the front office loves history, and this is what they've done, and they're proven players. And I still will never forget that line Marty Lurie said before the season started. And it doesn't only apply to spring training. It doesn't matter what Ramos or Matos do. It doesn't matter. These guys, Yaz and Slater, are here to stay. That is a very powerful statement. So they could hit 400, 500, 600. It doesn't matter. So let's read between the lines. What does that mean? That means the Giants have no faith in these young guys, these particular young guys. And it doesn't matter what they do. So their mental state of mind, they finish spring training, they finished the Sacramento game feeling good about themselves, saying, I went 3 for 4 with a homer, 3 RBIs. And usually a young player, when you put a few of those together, thinks, damn, I keep putting this together, I'm going to get called up. Not only am I getting called up, I'm going to get a chance to actually play in the big leagues. Like, is there an all-star in front of me? No. Is there a pretty good player in front of me? No. Is there an average player in front of me? No. Why the fuck am I not up? Seriously.
Exactly.
So you put a few of these together, like, damn, I went like 18 for my last 40 with 6 bombs. and I'm still down here. Like eventually, like they did it to Joey Bart, they've done it to other young guys, and they are just killing the youth mental state of mind in this
mentally. You got it, man.
They're killing it.
They absolutely are. Yeah. I mean, I think that's why Matos is struggling. I think he's mentally, what do I got to do? He sees no pathway to a spot in the minors. He says, in the majors. He's got Yaz and Slater, and then he's probably thinking, well, Ramos is out of options.
Ramos is ahead of him. Yep.
Ramos is ahead of him. Where's my shot? They signed Conforto, and Nick, you guys are complaining about Casey Schmidt or bitching. It's mostly me. Why don't you just say, hey, Dan, you know what, Nick? Really think he's going to be that great? We have no idea if he's going to be good or not. The point is, Nick, you play younger guys that you drafted that are ready to play. He can only do so much in AAA. And
arguably, he's got a better upside than what Chapman. Chapman's on his way down. He's not on his way up.
Yeah, and Nick further goes on to say, at best, Schmidt comes up and plays a little better offensively than Chapman and a little less defensively. Why is this the argument you're all after? You know what? If you understand something, Nick, what you got to understand is Casey Schmidt would be a major league minimum salary. Matt Chapman is making $18 million. That $18 million could have went to another starting pitcher, or it could have went to a better player out in the field, first baseman like Rhys Hoskins. You're playing Wilmer Flores. Wilmer's a great player, and he's a great guy to have on the bench, but he can't play every day. And he's slow. Hoskins is pretty slow too, but I don't think I've seen anybody as slow as Wilmer on the bases. But why would you not want a better bat? And how do you know his glove is going to be that much less than Chapman? This guy can pick it at third. I don't know if do you live anywhere near Sacramento, Nick? You ought to go up to a River Cats game and just watch Casey play. Just watch him play. He's a magician at third base.
Hey, Nick, what is $18 million going to get? Could have got them Imanaga with $4 million left in the bank.
There you go.
You know what though?
I heard he's pretty good.
One thing about he's on my fantasy. I know.
Nice.
But the only thing is, maybe he didn't want to come here, no matter how much money. Maybe he didn't want to come to San Francisco. Yeah.
It's fair.
Hey, hold on. What's going on with my doggone screen? Doggone it. I got it. I lost my.
That light keeps hitting your screen. You got to get a better light.
Chapman sure as hell is not going to bring it.
No, my screen is all messed up. What's the button I got to put? Function or Control 0?
I think it's Control 0 or Control O, something like that. See, I think because it's a touch screen, right?
Yeah, and I
bet your light's hitting your screen, and it's probably making it do something you don't want it to.
No, I hit something accidentally. There we go.
That's right, D-Shot.
I got it back.
That's right.
I got it back. All right.
Even though my team sucks right now, but it's
the sad part about it is I don't rarely watch Cole Kuiper and Alex Pavlovic. I don't. But Pavlich. God, man, names. But I did watch them a couple days ago, and the first 15 minutes they talked about was the justifiable Yaz being back. He's back, boys. And then Alex went on to say that the front office is basically giving them a 2-month leash. 2 months, not 1, 2. So they're going to be given 2 months before any possible, and I doubt if it's going to happen even then. They're going to be given 2 months to sink or swim. So, we got another month of this. It doesn't matter. We have another month of Yaz and Slater.
And then by that time, Ramos starts tailing off, and
And then people will come in here and say, see, Ramos wasn't all that good and this and that. And, for guys like Nick that says, well, they're not going to make a difference. But if you have two players that give you about the same results as an owner, would you rather pay $18 million for the same result or $700,000 for that result? I'm just saying, it's just from an economic point of view and from a baseball point of view, it's just bad business. There's no way you could have expected Chapman to come in here in this ballpark, in this home ballpark, and hit 280, 290, 30 homers, 90 RBIs, and give you a good glove.
I don't think he hit you 250 in this. He's
going to hit.
I don't think
He's going to hit 235. He's going to hit 235 this year.
I don't think Chapman would hit 250 in Cincinnati or Philadelphia. He didn't in Toronto. Toronto didn't want him back.
He used the excuse that he had a hand injury. Okay.
Yeah. Where's the hand this year?
So what's the excuse this year? Your hand's fine.
And I'll tell you what, I think Oracle Park, I don't care what you say, that's a park that you should be able to hit 300 in because it's a huge park. There's so much more. Look at Boston tonight. I'm watching this game on TV and I'm going, this looks like a Little League field. And I've seen many games at Boston, but it's like, you know, the outfielders are almost on top of the infielders.
Except for center field. Center field's huge.
Center field's big. Yes, but the rest of the park is so small. San Francisco's park is big. Why do Colorado guys hit well for average? The ball carries, and it's
huge
just huge. The Giants' outfield is huge. If I'm a Giants left-handed hitter, man, I'm going to learn how to sit and pull that ball down the right field line. You're going to have it's 309 down the right field line, and you can not only hit the ball out of the park there down the line, but you make the right fielder play right field. He's playing right center because of Triple's alley. Hit the ball down the right field line. Stop trying to I don't know, Los, when you played, didn't you go up to the bat and look a field over and go, I'm going to right field, or I'm going to.
That is so damn funny that you said that. I was just going to ask you the question. When you came up to bat, Dan, did you before you stepped in the box?
Yes.
Did you not look around and see where the defense was playing? Because
absolutely.
And
this is the problem.
Most of us are playing fantasy baseball. We're watching a lot of games. I'm seeing against right-handed hitters, I'm seeing the second baseman basically almost behind second base. I'm seeing right field, this Grand Canyon, wide open, that if anybody wants to choke up and just hit pepper to the right side, even if it's a little bleeder, it's a base hit. It's going through.
Yeah,
Nobody wants to do that. They want to be at the end of the bat. They want to swing out of their assholes, and they want to try to get either, like Eric said, a homer,
there it is,
strikeout, or
a walk. That's the problem. Look, this isn't 70s and 80s baseball. It's no guts, no glory. That's what it is.
I don't get it. Yeah.
How many hitters can you count on your hand that will go up to the plate and say, okay, I see them shading over there, I'm gonna go the other way? How many hitters do you think actually can do that in MLB right now?
You know what these guys would rather have? They'd rather have an exit velocity of 110 and an out rather than 95 and a hit.
That's the problem. It's different.
When I was
would
down
love
at
to get a hitting instructor on here.
About 4 years ago. About 4 years ago, I talked to Anthony Villa, who we had on, used to be a hitting instructor. Started out as a hitting instructor with the Orioles.
Man, maybe we need to get him in and talk about the art of hitting.
Yeah.
But Charlie Lau. Charlie Lau.
Yeah. Today.
Yeah. When I was 3 or 4 years ago, it was before I think Farham was still here, but they had an assistant hitting coach. His last name was Powell, and he came from the Houston organization. I can't remember his first name.
Oh, I remember him. Yeah,
Powell. And I started talking to him. I said, can't remember his first name, but I said, what is it with these guys constantly? Alonzo Powell, thank you. I talked to Alonzo Powell, and thanks. It's not a kilt. He said, man, these guys are all going for the money. He said, they're going for the money. The big money's in the home run. He says they don't know how to just hit the ball where it's pitched, go the opposite field.
There you go.
I
And
told that to Coletti, and he agreed.
He said the money's all in these big stats, home runs. Yep. I mean, look at Chapman. He stinks as a hitter, and he got 18 million. He got 18 million
for his glove. For his glove only.
No, he has power.
You never got paid
power.
He does, but
you never got paid big money if all you had was a glove.
Correct.
No.
Like didn't Johnny LeMaster, didn't he make minimum wage, Dan?
Yeah,
He never
pretty
got
much.
any kind of a big contract.
Chapman, when they signed him, it was like, oh, he's got a great glove, but he's going to add so much to the lineup. That was the catch.
Yeah, good point,
Go back and listen. Chapman he's an experienced professional hitter, and I'm saying BS. I've seen the guy with the A's. I saw him with Toronto. He strikes out a ton. I mean, need I pull his stats up again? Here they are right here. Look at this. Look at his strikeouts. I'm going to zero in on this strikeouts. See the 202 line right there? Big. Go up. 146, 147, 54. That was, 2020. 202, 170, 160. He's already got 30 in 113 at bats. He's on pace for, let's see, they played what? 30 games? He's on pace for 162 strikeouts. Okay, he's right in line with the rest of his numbers there. Where'd he go? Yeah, 202. He's right up there. Last year, 165. And you know what? When guys get a little more tired in dog days of summer, that back gets a little heavier on your shoulders, and your swing is not as crisp, and strikeouts tend to happen even more.
Dan, if a legitimate contender come July it comes calling to the Giants, they maybe lost their third baseman for the year, and they want Chapman. And
in a heartbeat.
Me too. I don't even have to get a top prospect back.
I don't even have to get anything.
Yeah, I just want to unblock Casey.
Yeah, and give me a salary dump. I don't want him back next year with another, big salary. And Nick says, Nick, are you not understanding that was Casey Schmidt's first year in the majors? And yeah, Chapman isn't the problem. He's a big part of the problem. He's in the middle of the lineup.
He's a middle of the order guy.
He has a problem with run production.
Not
a problem with defense, but he has a problem with run production.
Him and Soler and Yaz, and who else is in this lineup that's not doing it? Estrada's not doing it. But the middle of the lineup is Soler, Chapman, Conforto, right? That's pretty much been the middle for the most part of the season. Conforto's doing okay, but you know what? If he's doing okay, they're going to start pitching around him. They're going to stop. They're not going to face. If there's one hot guy in the lineup, they're not going to face him. Mike says Soler's okay. Really, Mike? You're okay with Jorge Soler right now? I mean, he might be okay, but he's not okay right now.
Chapman is definitely not the only problem. Like we're banging on him tonight, because quite frankly, I think we're tired of banging on Yaz and Slater. Hey, like that's tired out. Chapman and Snell, from everything I've seen, are the two signings that Giants fans went, here we go. Those two are monster signings. We're gonna get in the playoffs with those two guys. It wasn't Soler. Soler was like, that's a nice pickup. Like, it was cool. But Chapman was like, oh man, we got a middle of the order hitter with a gold glove. And Snell is a Cy Young Award winner. So those two guys, and Snell is very early, obviously, in getting hurt. But if those two guys are busts as picks, man, the Giants are not only not going to be 500, they're going to be well under 500 if those two guys cannot step it up.
Mike has a good point here. I think Jordan Hicks is looking to be the best signing.
Yeah,
him and Lee. Lee looks like Lee, you got to realize is going to get better. He's going to have his ups and downs as he adjusts, because he's seeing, I don't know how many pitchers were in Korea, but I imagine there was probably only a handful that were, really solid pitching that you had to face. I mean, Dan,
what's frustrating about this team, a lot of things are, but the guys that they expected to do well are not. And the guys that we didn't expect anything from are doing pretty good. So if the guys that are expected to do something were just holding their own, man, this team would be in good shape. Like you said, Jordan Hicks has been a nice surprise. Keaton Wynn has been a nice surprise. Some of the arms in the bullpen are nice surprises. But it's the Flores, the Chapmans, the Solers, the Estradas, the Yaz, the Tyler Rogers. Those are like, our history says that they're pretty good, but they're not this year.
Their roster on paper has some nice pieces. When you look at defensively, you say, okay, man, the left side of the infield, really, really good, really solid. Chapman and Ahmed, and lock it down, baby. Estrada's playing good second base. Center field, Jung-Hoo Lee looks like really a great center fielder who gets after balls.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he may not have his arms adequate. It's not like a rocket, but it's not terrible.
Right.
It's got some pieces on paper, but it's also got a lot of holes on paper when you look at as a whole. Individually, you might say, Soler looks like he could be, not bad. Wade, he's pretty decent, but to carry a team, they don't have anybody a star. They do not have a star. Their possible all-star on the field is Patrick Bailey. That's their possible all-star. And it's, but they have no other shot of anybody even competing for an all-star other than their pitching. Webb and Hicks and maybe Duvall. Those are your possible all-stars on this team are Webb, Hicks, and Duvall in the pitching staff, and Patrick Bailey. Now, how long does Patrick Bailey stay hitting above 300? Or he's 280 now. He's already come way down. And look, remember where Nick Ahmed was? Oh, he's hitting 320. He's down to 253 and falling. He will fall. Nick Ahmed will hit in the 220 to 235 range pretty much when it's said and done. Okay.
Check this out, guys. This is the offensive numbers currently for Jorge Soler. This is
what is
bad.
That?
This
10,
is after
what is XBA? What is that? Batting average,
on
right?
base average or something like that.
Okay, that's
look
batting
at
average.
This guy is supposed to be like a monster. Look at his average exit velocity. At least Chapman's got that. Everything is pretty much below average except for his slugging and his hard hit rate. But that's still not. You need to be way higher than that. That's pitiful.
So
the only thing he's doing well is taking some walks.
Soler is the kind of guy that needs a good lineup around him to be
exactly.
Yes.
By himself, he is being exposed because, first of all, he's not the most patient hitter, even though the walks might suggest that he is. His track record doesn't say that. But because he doesn't have much hitting in front of him or much hitting behind him, he's not going to get fastballs. He's going to get a lot of junk in the dirt, and he's going to get frustrated, and he's going to swing at pitchers.
Yep.
And that's why he's going to get out.
Turd, I think what I was saying about Bailey is I said he's only one of their potential all-stars. I don't think he's an all-star, a perennial type all-star player. I'm just saying that he's their only shot as a position player of being an all-star this year. He's not. There's nobody in this lineup that has all-star potential at this point this year. Now, down the road, if Jung-Hoo Lee starts hitting over 300, he's never going to hit for power. Jung-Hoo Lee is going to be a guy that hits you maybe 10 homers, gets you, 50 RBIs.
Lee, you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. from that position, 40, 50.
He's not going to get you a lot of extra base hits, but he's going to get you eventually. I think he eventually, and I may be way off on this. I see potential in him. I think he's 2 years away, 2 to 3 years away. I think in year 3 or year 4, you could see a possible, when he's 27, 28 years old, a possible batting champion, because he'll figure it out. You know, a lot of these guys, it takes them a year or two to figure out the big leagues.
Look at this by Kilt. I kind of like what he's saying here. It's very interesting. Giants should have given Evans more one-way and beefed up the analytics department as a hearty supplement. Instead, the Giants selected an analytics extremist to become a purging dictator. Interesting interpretation there, Kilt.
That's well worded.
Yeah, it is. I like that. It's very well thought out. I like it.
That's well worded. But you guys know that I'm a big, buy low, sell high type of guy.
Yep.
Stocks and investments and baseball and in sports and trading. So check this out. This is the Giants starting pitching within a couple months. They're going to have 7 guys: Webb, Wynn, Hicks, Snell, Cobb, Ray, and Harrison. Okay, that's overkill. You got
don't forget, 8 Lowe's. You left somebody out.
Who did I leave out?
DJ.
Who?
DJ. Dalton Jeffries, man. Don't forget DJ, man.
Oh, come on, man.
I've said this already, and I'll say it again. Do not hang your hat on Cobb or Ray this year. I don't see it happening.
Yeah, that very well may be. But I guess what I'm saying is, like, we didn't expect to win to pitch well. We sure as hell didn't see Hicks coming out of nowhere.
True.
So these are nice surprises. These are good things.
Right.
So let's be optimistic, and let's say that
Let's play the game.
Yeah, let's just say Cobb comes back within 3 to 4 weeks. He takes a couple of starts, but he starts getting into a groove. Let's say Robbie Ray starts throwing around late May and is in the rotation by early July.
Late July. It would be August.
Is it late July? Okay.
I think it'll be after the break. Yeah, definitely.
So they're going to have 7 potential starters. This is, again, going to be, if it works out this way, an opportunity for Farhan to see where the strength of his team is, where the weakness of his team is. You don't need 7 starters. You don't. So, like, which of those, like right now, I know nobody wants to hear this, but what the hell would Jordan Hicks get back right now? Don't trade him. He's our only good starter. What if he brought back a serious bat? I'm not saying do it. I'm just saying buy low, sell high. What would Keaton Wynn bring back right now if he throws a couple more gems? I mean, you're not going to get nothing.
You're barking up my tree here just because I love to sell.
We know what you like to do trade-wise. Yeah. We know your history. So coming from me, it's like a little bit of a shock because I don't trade in fantasy.
I'm not just talking. But I would. Hey, you heard me, guys. I was on the tree barking up, but and I know it's crazy to even think about it because he's your leader, and you got to have a leader. But what would Logan Webb have brought in the offseason?
Yeah,
Logan Webb would have brought you some stars.
Yep.
I wanted to make the trade of. I was looking to make, Texas. I said, what does Texas need? Texas needs a closer, and Texas needs an ace because they have had injuries. I was wanting to do Logan Webb and Camilo Doval and for Wyatt Langford and Evan Carter. And I wasn't looking to win now. I'm looking to win in the next year or two with studs that I can't seem to develop in my system, and I certainly can't get him in free agency. So I better go the trade route. Give me Evan Carter and Wyatt Langford, and I've got my bookend corners for 10 years because I'm going to sign those guys. I know I can develop pitching. You got Harrison. You got Hicks, but you got Mason Black, you got Landon Roop, you've got Wisenhunt, you got Reggie Crawford. You can build your pitching. By the time this team looks like it may be competitive, Logan Webb is going to be at the back end of this contract. I mean, and I know that's a wild thing that would never happen because Farhan doesn't have the guts to do it. And, it's not that I want to get rid of Logan Webb. I love Logan Webb. Logan Webb is the face of the franchise right now. He is the Steph Curry of the Warriors to the Giants. He means that much. But, I also realize that this is a business and you are not building. You haven't put an outfielder, an all-star since Chili Davis 40 years ago, my friends. 40 years. So Wyatt Langford is going to be an MVP someday. I don't even think the Rangers would they might not even do that trade. But I certainly, if I was a GM, that's what I would be doing. I would be aggressively growing my team, building the best young talent in the game. And I would be, the Giants know how to develop pitching. And you can also sign free agent pitching. You've proven you can't get good hitters here in the free agent market. You just can't. Jung-Hoo Lee might be an aberration to it because he's coming from Korea and you overpaid for him, it looks like. Right? I mean, you stepped up and gave him $19 million a year when he was probably getting 12 offers.
Let's not forget there's also a posting fee you had to pay for him as well that adds on to that.
Yeah.
So it's not just the contract length and
Mike,
price.
you didn't get that. Barry was not part of the system. Barry was a free agent brought in from Pittsburgh. The Giants have not drafted and developed their own player that's come up with San Francisco and made an all-star team since Chili Davis in 1984. So
the Giants draft outfielders like the Niners draft offensive linemen in the last 10 years. I had to get that one in. I'll leave that one alone because I can go on a whole another tangent on that one, but we'll stick with baseball. Is it me? Is all of baseball? I mean, again, when you play fantasy and you're watching all these games, boy, there's a lot of good hitters struggling right now. Chorio is struggling. Jackson Holliday got sent down, but veterans like Arenado, Goldschmidt, just go up and down the board. Like who's really hitting now? There's a lot of guys struggling, a lot.
Well, Trout was until now. He's going to probably be out for the rest of the season.
Is Trout out again?
Knee.
Oh, again. What did he do now? When was this?
Got to have an operation on his meniscus.
When did this happen?
I think either today or yesterday, something
like
that.
Just, you know what? Wrap him up and he's done. He can't just do this. This is like the fourth year in a row. And he's getting older. He's done. Mike Trout, I had hope for him this year, hoping he would stay injury-free. His body's breaking down.
Yep.
Sadly, his body's breaking down. I don't even know if he's a Hall of Famer now. If he doesn't come back, does Mike Trout, if he doesn't come back and have some productive years,
maybe he comes back as a DH.
That's what he should be. But he's so aggressive.
I think he's a Hall of Famer right now.
Do you think he is?
Yeah, I think so. He's won a few MVPs, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
The only thing he doesn't have is the World Series.
Yeah, Barry Bonds, but that's different. Yeah, I know. Somebody said something in here to me about who cares about Chili Davis being. We've won 3 rings since then. I can't.
It was cryptic. It was cryptic.
See if you can find. Oh, here it is. Yeah, cryptic. But you also had an entirely homegrown infield with those World Series for the most part,
and pitching staff,
and a pitching staff. So you got to develop somewhere. I'm only using outfield because they haven't developed any outfielders. I'm fine. Now, look at what their infield is right now. Is there any homegrown infielders in that infield? There's no homegrown infielders or outfielders. The only homegrown thing you have on this team is Harrison and Wynn and Duvall and
Webb.
Bailey and Webb. You have some pitching. You have no position players that you have developed in the last 5 years. This is why I'm barking for Casey Schmidt, because you got to start somewhere. You can't just fill this roster year after year after year with vagabond free agents. And yes, I put Matt Chapman in the vagabond category. I don't think he's an all-star. He's an all-star. He's a Gold Glover, but Brandon Crawford won Gold Gloves many years and he didn't hit.
It's a different sport, but do you remember when the Seahawks, they signed a big-time quarterback free agent by the name of Flynn?
Yep, Matt Flynn from the Packers. Matt Flynn
from the Packers signed a big free agent contract.
Yep.
He was going to be their quarterback for the next 3 to 4 years.
And
then they drafted a guy named Russell Wilson in the third round.
Mm-hmm.
And they let him compete in camp. And the Seahawks said, this kid is too good. He's just better. We're going to play the better player. I don't give a shit about contract or any of that. So that, I know it's very rare, but it's very refreshing for fans to see an organization not play politics, because Lord knows we have enough of that in the world. In our sports world, we want to see, because those of us that played the game, that's how you played it. Freshmen, JVs, varsity. The best players started, the next best players sat on the bench, and the shitty players got cut. And that was that. But then you get into the world of professional sports, and it's like, well, we're giving Chapman $18 million a year, and he's our third baseman. He could hit 160, 150, 140. I mean, that average can just keep dropping, and he's just going to still be out there. So I know it's rare, and I know the example I just brought up doesn't happen very often, but it should. The better players should play. And we've talked about this for more than a year. Our young guys, if they're given a chance, we all think could be equal to or better than the veterans that they're playing for a lot cheaper.
I love that analogy of the Seahawks, because you're right. Matt Flynn was paid big time money and he got beat out in camp, and they went with Russell Wilson, and look, the rest is history, man.
There's more examples I can think of. I'm trying off the top of my head. I might need some help, but from baseball players, think about a big time free agent signing and that they were a bust, and some kid kind of came out of nowhere and took their job. And that's sports. That's what we all grew up on, like just competition, like who's better. And I love the guy. I love the young kid that doesn't have the big contract, because they're trying to prove something. I always think when you get the big money, like, shit, man, I'm getting $18 million a year no matter what I hit. What do I have to work on? Why do I have to get better? I have guaranteed money. I like people that have chips on their shoulder with something to prove. That's why I like the young players. But again, we just fall into the politics of the game.
Yep, I agree, man. It is something. Hey, do we got any super chats out there? I don't see any.
Haven't seen any yet.
All right.
And you all know that I like Jung-Hoo Lee, but I completely agree. They way overpaid for him.
They did.
And I know his $19 million probably doesn't kick in, I want to say, until year 3 or 4. I think he's only at like 10 or maybe even $8 million the first couple of years, but still. That was like a Carlos Correa signing. Remember what they were going to give Correa? Like a above average shortstop.
They are lucky they got out of that deal.
Man, but see, Farhan just doesn't evaluate talent very well. I'm sorry, he doesn't. He was about to drop $323 million for Carlos Correa. Think about that. And, man,
I mean, I'm curious. Is watching the games, is it pretty boring?
It's boring.
I mean, the most exciting thing tonight was the almost triple play. That was like, and did you notice how exciting that was it Fleming? I think it was. They got so excited. There was nothing in this game to get excited over. And, I mean, triple play is pretty exciting, but they look crushed. Oh, man, why couldn't
They were crushed, man. I was listening to you. I was like, wow.
Man, is this what you're getting? I mean, how about, and then it's like the ninth inning, Hunter Pence. Let's see if we can get some runs and maybe get something going for tomorrow. Not like, hey, maybe we can pull this off. We're only 4 down. No, they know this club. I mean, oh gosh, it's hard to watch. It really is hard to watch.
It's baseball. If you're in fantasy and you're watching all your players play, like you're seeing a lot of 0 for 4s, man. A lot of 0 for 4s. Boy, I would have loved to have played fantasy back in the day where, damn, man, my right fielder's Clemente. I got McCovey in the 6th round.
Oh, yeah. Did you
see that? Boy, I would have loved watching those games.
You see that email I sent you on the survey? Did you open that up?
I took it.
I saw it and I haven't taken it yet. But
man. It's very interesting. There's questions in there that makes me think they're realizing I think baseball is losing. Hey, thanks, D-Shot. Appreciate that. There you go.
Way to go, D-Shot.
It all in one place. Awesome. I think baseball's really struggling right now with the economy. The Giants, check this out. I heard the promo again tonight. The 501, they're saying the 501, $5 tickets.
Yeah, I saw that ad during the game.
May through July, including Dodgers. They're going to let you in for $5. And there was a post last night on the Facebook chat. I sent a copy of it to Eric. Listen to this. This was talking about, I'm trying to remember what the subject was, but somebody said, I thought about that. Oh, because it was about the tickets, how much cheap they were. And he says, I thought about that. My tickets were so cheap that finding that deal again would make me want to go again. We spent more on food than the actual ticket.
Yeah.
That's what the Giants are selling. The reason they're putting 35,000 people there on the weekend is like people are getting in for practically free. They're paying $5 to $10 a ticket. And, you bring a family of 4 for $40 and then you buy the food. It's like they're trying to basically make money on their concessions.
I'm not even going to respond to that comment I just saw.
Which one was that?
Eric, you handle it. You know who.
I'm not even going there. Golly, man. Dude.
Oh, no, that one? Oh,
come on, dude.
The Riviera?
Yes. Yes. Come on, man. A Hall of Famer?
Yeah.
You're going to – come on. Okay.
Yep. No one wants to go watch a boring team and pay $50 to park, overpriced food, and have your
Come
card
on, man.
They're still getting decent
What are you
crowds
talking about, man?
Let's not even give it a lip service. Oh.
Hey, if Wade reaches his potential, he'll be better than McCovey.
You know what? I think
he'll be better than Lou Gehrig, man.
That's what I was going to say. Lou Gehrig, man. Lou Gehrig.
Yeah, well, I'm going to giant. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, he went Yankee, so
you're right. Yankee. You're right. That was a giant.
I mean, who would you rather see at first base right now? I'd rather see Brandon Belt. At least he would have a little bit of pop. I mean, Giants have 1 home run at first base.
Yes, 1 home run.
Only
one.
I don't even know what Belt is sitting on the sidelines for. I don't get it.
He might be done.
He's had a good year last year.
It was okay. I don't know if it was good, but it was okay.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't. I mean, you look at his numbers for what he played. They were very respectable.
Look at that. Scott Fowler, $5, a Giants ticket voucher.
Oh my goodness.
We don't talk too much about the struggles of Estrada and Flores. What are you guys seeing from those two guys? Those are two pretty good hitters, and they're struggling.
I don't know, man.
What are you seeing?
We're 30 games in.
Yeah, it's not a small sample size anymore.
No, it's not. It's not a small sample size.
We're 1/5 of the way there, so we got to stop saying that. After a week or two, that's fine, but we're talking about 30 games now.
Yeah, I can understand you have a week or two, like you said, you might have some down, but then you come back. Not for 30 damn games.
Right. We're seeing some bad habits and guys getting out of it.
Yeah. This is why, the 2020 season was a joke, because you played 60 games and guys either had good years or slumps. And, these guys are,
yes,
they're not disciplined hitters. Estrada seems to me like he swings a lot off, like reaching, like his front foot. The one thing you can say about Flores, he doesn't take a step forward. He doesn't, lift his leg like most hitters do. He's balanced, and that way he stays back on the ball, and he can, he can fight off pitches that are not his with 2 strikes and wait.
Flores isn't doing it. He's batting 220 something and no home runs, and
I don't think he's had. How many at bats has Flores had? Has he even had 50 at bats though?
I don't know. I like what Fosse's saying there.
What's Fosse saying?
Talking about Flores used to be automatic with runners in scoring position.
Yeah, he's a great RBI guy.
But this year, not so much.
I'm not the type to hold coaching responsible. I'm all about the player and making adjustments. But I don't think we've talked all year about Pat Burrell. He is our hitting coach now. And
Pat Burrell was never a big time hitter.
Pat Burrell was not an average hitter. He was, Dan, kind of think about it. Like,
guts, no glory, like I said earlier.
Yeah.
He was a 230, 240
exactly.
hitter. He would run into one once in a while. He had some big hits, a couple of big homers in the championship seasons. But all in all, he is what most of the Giants hitters are right now.
Why don't they make Barry Bonds the hitting coach?
I have no idea.
He doesn't want to go on the road, I think. I guarantee that's probably what it is. It takes a lot of time.
Take him for 81 home games then.
Nobody has asked that question is that a Melvin hire or is that a Farhan hire to bring Burrell up?
I don't know. Wilmer's got 66 at bats.
66. Well, again, there's 66 at bats, kind of scattered. I mean, you should put his 66 at bats together with put his 60. Can you put his 66 at bats side by side with Elliot Ramos' career at bats?
Huh. Oh yeah, right.
Because I bet you they're pretty similar. I would be shocked I would love to see the numbers. Just Ramos 79 at bats versus Flores 66 at bats, and show you that if you don't play every day, it's hard to get into a groove. And if you notice, Flores had a pretty good year last year, but they started playing him when he started hitting more.
Played him a lot.
Because, you remember, Flores is on the wrong side of the plate to get the at-bats because 70% of the pitchers are right-handed. So you're going to go with Wade. Now, Wade is hitting 350 still, right? Isn't he?
I don't know.
Lamont Wade is hitting 333, sorry. So he's hitting 333, but he's not a productive 333 as far as, driving in runs and OPS. I mean, this lineup.
I'm still blown away when I see a guy at first and the first baseman's holding him on. And then the second baseman is damn near behind the bag. And you get that wide angle and you just see the whole right side open. I mean, how hard is it? And then you see what it makes it even worse. Then you see the pitcher throwing on the outside. All you need to do is just serve it to right field, and you're going to get 8 out of 10 times a hit because it's so wide open. And they still try to pull the ball and have great exit velocity. It's just mind-boggling, the mind status of hitters nowadays.
Okay, so Wilmer's on the left.
Yep.
So Ramos has had how many at bats? Where is it?
That's just plate appearances.
Oh, they're not showing bat. I think he's like 79.
He had 76.
76 at bats. So the hits are pretty close. Ramos has the home run. Wilmer has 10 RBIs this year.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, Ramos just hasn't been given a chance. You could look at those stats.
But the problem is those plate appearances are
scattered.
A couple of games here, a couple of games there.
Yeah. You can't get anything going. And he's also made adjustments since then. They told him to get the ball more up in the air because he was constantly grounding out. Okay, Giovanni, for the record, we know that you and Mr. Rothberg believe in this team. I'm glad you do. You'll be probably left holding the bag at the end of the season. But you know what? Hope I'm wrong. Hope they
hey, feel free to come in and explain why you believe in the team.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Come in. Please, come in.
Yeah.
Want to throw it out there?
Throw it out there. Come in.
I would love to hear guys come in and not just say we believe in the team. This is a good team. Why is this a good team?
Yeah, it's easy to respond in the chat. Come on in. Don't hide your face. Speak well. Speak into the mic and tell us intelligently why this team is going to be a playoff team. There's nothing wrong with that. We can respectfully disagree. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
you might have some great points that will be like, that's a good point.
I've just never seen a lineup that is just so anemic top to bottom that, it's crazy that they're in games because of their pitching. I mean, they're 14-16 basically because the starting pitching has kept them
in
so many games. And we know that's the recipe, so to speak, is good defense, starting pitching, and try and get into the playoffs. But you got to have some hitters.
You missed one.
Timely hitting.
Bingo.
Yeah,
Bingo.
I was going to say timely hitting. But
yeah, I was just going to say to Giovanni and Robert that you guys are thinking that this is the 2010, 2012 Giants. You're thinking, hey, we got enough pitching. We got really good pitching. And you're thinking, we'll get enough hitting to win and to get by and to get in the playoffs. And once we get into the playoffs, then our pitching is going to take over. You're forgetting one thing. The 2010 and the 2012 team, while they didn't have great batting averages or great power, they had timely hitting. They got guys in from third with less than 2 outs. They got that 2-out single to score 2 runs. We're 30 games in now. Can you name one guy on this team? Who's the number one guy that you want at the plate right now in the lineup? It's a tie game. It's second and third. No, bases loaded, 1 out. All I need is a sac fly. Who do you feel comfortable with? It has to be a guy that has contact. So
probably Wade.
It would be Wade or Lee, probably.
Wade,
right?
Lee, or right now Bailey.
Yeah,
Right.
Wade, Lee, or Bailey.
It's sad that we have to rely on like contact hitters to drive in runs. Our guys that are supposed to be RBI guys, how many times has Chapman and Soler struck out with a man at third in less than 2 outs? Like shit, man. If I'm Melvin, I'm like, hey, these guys can't get it done. Drop a suicide squeeze down. Can you bunt? Can you get a guy in from third? Because that's the name of the game, is scoring runs. So I know you think that this team is similar to those 10 and 12 teams. They're not.
They're not even close.
They don't timely hit. And they don't have the pitching, quite honestly, that Lincecum, Kane, and Bumgarner brought.
And
Those are
also,
three monsters.
there's also one key ingredient that this team doesn't have that those teams had.
Bochy.
Well, a player I'm talking about.
Okay.
How about an MVP?
Posey.
Yeah, MVP 2012, batting champion, unbelievable catcher, unbelievable leader.
That's funny that you say that, Dan, because in 2009, the Giants had a pretty good catcher named Benji Molina.
Right.
He was pretty good. He was not crap like what we're throwing out there. That you know who it is that could be demoted, that could be cut. We had a pretty good catcher in Molina, and that front office said, "You know what? You're pretty good, but we got a kid that's really good, and you know what? We're not going to leave any doubt. We're not going to put him to the bench where he's hovering over his shoulder. We're going to trade Benji Molina, so there's no doubt this job is yours, kid, because we believe in you and your talent." And what did he do? And this front office, for Robert and for Giovanni, that you keep thinking that this team is a playoff team, great. They very well may be. But this front office will not have any faith in their young guys to do what that front office did. I'm not saying Matos and Ramos are Buster Posey. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying when you show faith in a kid that has
talking
talent,
about philosophy,
and you get rid of his competition and saying, "Hey, it's on me." Boy, some people go to the top and some people swim. And I think out of the three guys that we all want up, Luciano, Matos, and Ramos, you're not going to tell me one, maybe two out of those three are going to flourish with that trust. You're not going to tell me that. That's crap. But if you still want to roll with Yaz and Slater and Chapman and all these guys, then you go on ahead. But I for that reason, I brought up Benji Molina and Posey. That was a damn good catcher, Benji Molina was. And they traded him.
Yep. The one thing that Sabian and Coletti had in them, they had the wherewithal. They had the guts to make bold moves. Sometimes you're going to be wrong.
Right.
Sometimes you're going to be wrong, but you're never going to know until you make the bold move. And you got to have some belief in certain people, and you got to know your guys. And I don't think Farhan knows his guys, because I think Farhan looks at options, looks at statistics. I don't think he really gets down and knows his guys. We saw Matos last year put a spark in this team just by taking a walk and throwing his bat down and looking over to the dugout and saying, "Come on!" You know,
what's Tyler Fitzgerald done when he's been given a chance?
Yeah, exactly. He goes 3 for 3 on Sunday, plays an excellent shortstop, and he's on the bench today. You saw his arm strength. Do you see Ahmed's throws from short to first?
I saw one throw where the guy beat it out that was like, damn. You know which one I'm talking about? Like, I think Duran beat it out.
Right.
It's like, damn, man. He fired it as hard as he could, and it still wobbled up there.
Yeah. His throws, every time he throws it, I'm thinking, oh, that's going to go way over. It's got a loop. It's got an arc to it.
Yes.
It's got a little arc. Most guys, shortstops, just like, it's a laser.
You know what? Ahmed at this stage of his career is probably a better second baseman than he is at the shortstop because of the arm. You know, he's probably a better second baseman. But no, I mean, having an arm at short is huge. I mean, we were very spoiled with Crawford. He make that play in the hole, get up and just fire it and get it there. So everybody that loves Ahmed, great glove. We'll not take that away from him. But there's two aspects to being a good defender, and one of them is arm, and that's where he does not come into play.
Exactly. I call it a noodle arm, and I just think you got to either go with Fitzgerald or Luciano there, bring in some speed. I mean, you can keep Ahmed on the roster. The games you're winning that are close, after the 7th inning or even in the 7th inning, you want to bring Ahmed in, go ahead and bring him in because you need defense. And I know the games are important 1 through 6 for defense, but you got to have a bat. You got to have a bat in the lineup. You need a spark. This team does not have any spark to it. I'll bet you if you brought in Matos and Ramos together and you let those guys just go at it. I mean,
I know, Los. I know. I want to say something so bad.
Say it.
So bad.
I'm gonna say it, Giovanni. Can hold on here? I got to get a prop here. Hold on.
Oh my God, dude.
The invitation is still out there. The link's been in there. Come on. You're
Come on. Thank you, Will.
Here we go, Giovanni. I'm going to bring you in with this comment right there.
Yeah.
That comment right there is, I had it. Right, there it is, right there. There it is. Giovanni, that's the ultimate clown music for a clown comment of the night.
Oh, my God.
Sabian didn't need to win 107 games.
Giovanni, who gives a shit about 107 games? What did
You
they
didn't-
do that season? They got bounced in the division series, Giovanni. Who cares, man? 107 games. Yes, that's great. That's fantastic. That was a season for the ages. But that's not a damn championship, man.
Isn't Giovanni the same guy that rips on
Yeah.
the Niners for coming up short? So
I'm not sure.
So yeah, I think he's always saying the Giants are always better than the Niners. So
Look at everybody's telling you you're a
the
clown,
Giants do the
Giovanni.
same thing. Yeah.
Come on. 107 wins. What did that get you?
Damn, dude.
Come
That
on.
just makes no sense.
Yeah, that's like the Warriors
That's
winning
not-
73 wins and not winning the title.
That argument holds no damn water. Come on, man. You're better. You're better than that, Giovanni.
Oh,
I'm
yes.
trusting you. You're better than that, Giovanni.
Giovanni is Max.
I don't think he is.
It's Max Rosito. It's Mad Max Rosito.
Oh, man, dude.
Oh, my goodness. Come on.
Did you become a fan of the San Francisco Giants in 2021? You must have. You must have. Because obviously you weren't around when the Giants hoisted 3 trophies in 5 years. Because that doesn't make sense.
Can we get that word hoisted again?
Hoisted.
One more time.
Hoisted.
Oh.
Yes. What happened? What happened in the playoffs in 2021? What did they hoist? Nothing. Not a damn thing. Woo! We won 107 games in the regular season.
He said he's all good. He was raised in the shadows. Oh, my goodness. Oh, good job, Will. You scolded him, Max. I've scolded him many times. Max, I've invited Max on this show to have it out and let us hear it all. But Max,
Jeez, man. That is just
hey, you don't have to play the game to know the game. I'll tell you that. But if you play the game, there's a certain element that you just pick up and get that some of these comments are just nuts that people are making about the Giants being a solid team. Are the Giants horrible? No, they're not horrible. They're average. They're just average. They have the potential to be really good. I've said that. This team is missing a couple of pieces, and if they would make those moves, I don't know why you just don't bring up Luciano and Ramos or Matos and watch and see what happens for a month. I mean, they are not going to do any worse at the plate, okay? They're probably going to do much better at the plate than what guys they would replace. Maybe you sacrifice a little D over, in right field. Not much. Not much.
That's a good glove.
Yeah. And you're not going to sacrifice a ton. Luciano is not as refined as Ahmed. I get it. But you know what? Nobody's let this guy even have a chance. And I don't know what you want to wait for. It's not like you got, an all-star in front of you. You got an ex-Gold Glove who's 34 now. His range is still okay. His glove's excellent. His arm's weak. His bat's going to get weaker. You need some pop in this lineup. Luciano can provide that. You know what? And I'll tell you another thing. Just because I've played sports and I was one of the better players on the team, and I also sat on the bench on the team. And I know what it's like to sit on the bench and know that you can play. And in practice, you're outperforming the guys that are starting, but the coach will only play 5 guys. This is basketball. Only would play 6 guys the whole game. 6 guys. And our second 5 would have made the playoffs because we had a really good team. And our second 5 was pretty good. But the frustration is the second 5 unit, the guys, we used to just chuckle. Oh, we're never going to get it. We didn't care. We lost interest. It was tough because we knew we could play, but we were down. And I'm telling you, guys, like when you keep guys down too long that are performing, that can perform, sometimes it affects their performance. And
let me just say something to DJ. You're missing the point, man. Like you said it earlier, that if we played the game and it wasn't at a semi-pro or pro level, that we have no voice and we can't say anything. From comparing to professional players, yeah, you're absolutely right. But we're not doing that. We're saying that the people that play ball like their whole lives know more about the game than people that never played the game. And quite frankly, there's quite a few people in this chat that I can just tell have never played the game. So when we talk about Pepper and the positions and stepping out of the box and looking to see where position players are, that's what we're talking about. So no, do we know at the pro level or even the college level or even AAA or double level? No. But we're talking about the knowledge of somebody that's played the game for decades over somebody that has never, ever played the game. And quite frankly, there's too many casual fans. I've said this many times. There's way too many casual fans that show up at Oracle that they've never played baseball. Why the hell do you think we have a pitch clock now? Because we need to cater to the casual fans. To hell with the casual fans. The real baseball fans don't mind being there for 3 hours for a game. Don't mind going up to a double header.
I love the double header, man.
I love the double header. Shit, I get 6 hours of baseball. Sign me up. And who likes that? Who likes 6 hours of baseball?
I loved it.
People that played the game, probably. Whether it's Little League, JVs, freshmen, varsity. So
you're getting me going, man. The double headers at Candlestick were awesome. Started at 12:05, and the second game started like 3:30. Man, it was like you had 25 minutes in between games. It was great. It was like you go out there all day, you get your chocolate malt, your hot dogs, and and you just sat there, and it was fun to sit at Candlestick and watch 2 games.
Now, would you say the majority of those people that enjoyed going to double headers, were they casual fans that would like to see 2 games of baseball, or probably not?
Yeah, those were, there's baseball is going to have some trouble in the next, and I think that's what they're looking at when you take that quiz. You can kind of figure out where they're going. Not quiz, survey, but because the game is they're trying to so hard to make this entertaining for people who don't have the attention span. And
That's it right there. The attention span.
There was one question in there that says, what's one thing you would change if you could change in the game? And I brought up the pitch clock. I don't like it being at 15 and 18. I said, if you're going to keep the pitch clock, move it to 20 with nobody on and 25 with runners on, so pitchers can actually gather themselves and they're not just firing away. And in the playoffs, do away with it altogether in the 8th and 9th innings. Just no pitch clock, period. Because I don't think they're ever going to go back on it. I'm agree with you. I don't need a pitch clock. I don't need a pitch clock at all. I would think advertisers were fine without a pitch clock because they got more ads. You get longer games, more time for ads. But I guess baseball figures people don't want to watch unless it's over in 2.5 hours.
The game is just, it's too robotic, man. It's just not a game anymore. It is a business, and it really stands out as a business. Probably nobody in the chat knows who Al Roboski was. Dan would.
I do. The Mad Hungarian?
Al Roboski would never be able to finish the pitch clock because he had to stand behind home plate, turned his back.
Yeah. Yes.
He would turn his back to home plate, rub up the ball, and turn around and have this pissed off scowl look on his face.
He had that big Fu Manchu.
And you know what?
The Mad Hungarian.
That was entertaining.
Great.
That was entertaining.
You can't do that anymore. Yeah, there's no entertainment. How about Mark the Bird Fidrich?
I was just going to say, Fidrich. He would talk to the ball. That was entertaining. Baseball was entertaining then. Yeah, we had the San Diego Chicken. We had the Fanatic. I mean, we still have the Fanatic, but
John hates the pitch clock.
Pitch clock.
Giovanni, actually, we criticize Giovanni. Let's give him credit when he makes a wise comment. Very sound, astute comment there, Giovanni.
Oh, that's an excellent comment. Excellent. I've been to games on the East Coast, and it's a big difference how they watch.
It's a huge.
They are not taking selfies and taking pictures of themselves. They are on the edge of their seat, like this, looking at the game.
Stupid Dodger fans are doing the wave in the middle of a tight ball game.
Yeah,
the wave and a beach ball, and the game's going on, and they're more interested in doing the wave and making sure that beach ball keeps flying around.
So the 8 to 10,000 fans that would show up at Candlestick on a Tuesday night against the Expos, not exactly a big name team, they would have their Walkmans on. They would be keeping scoring book, and they'd be watching the game. They wouldn't even talk to the person that's next to them until it was in between innings. That's how it was watching the game back in the day. But now you have too much. Technologies. I'm not going to knock instant replay. Get the call right. But when you didn't have that, boy, I miss those Billy Martin arguing with the umpires. Woo! Earl Weaver, Frank Robinson, Lou Piniella. That was entertaining. That was the beauty of this game. And it was the one game that had no shot clock. You didn't have to look up and say, 2 minutes and 47 seconds. They're going to run out of time. You could be down 12-3 in the bottom of the 9th inning and you got no shot clock. If they scored 9 runs, you win the game. So they've tinkered with it a lot to cater to the casual fans.
Oh, you know what's going to be even.
That's made the game worse.
You know what's going to make it even a little bit. You want to get the call right, but when they come with that ABS, how many perfect games do you think you're going to be, or even no hitters when the ABS? Because sometimes the pitcher will build a relationship with the home plate umpire throughout a game, right? If they're really dealing, sometimes he'll give it a little bit more on the outside or the inside or up or down, whatever it may be, because he's building a relationship, because he's locating. With the ABS, you're not getting that. It's straight. Are you on it or you're not on it? So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that.
See, the casual baseball fan will sit through a game and they'll wait, 5 or 6 or 7 innings just to see that one home run and think, oh my God, this is great. The real baseball fan will want to see, 4 or 5 of those innings where there was a walk, a hit and run, a sacrifice fly, a double steal, a suicide squeeze. That made the game beautiful. It was not just about scoring runs with the home run. It was about all these different ways and all these different strategies. Man, I can't remember the last time I saw a double steal. I can't remember the last time I saw a squeeze. Roger Craig used to squeeze all the time, and it wasn't just with small guys. He did the element of surprise with a number 4 hitter would just lay it down because it was unexpected. But that was the beauty of the game. I don't think it's.
Didn't the Giants do double steal that one game where they had like 5 stolen bases? Was there a double steal?
Did they? I missed that one.
I can't remember. It's not very often though.
Hey, can I play a highlight without? Can I play a highlight without sound?
No, because we did that before.
What is it?
How long is the clip?
35 seconds.
Forget about it.
Can I stop it and then play it again and then stop it after 10 seconds?
Maybe. I guess we could try. Why not?
I want to let me bring this up because somebody asked about Casey Schmidt at third base, and I'm trying to tell you how good he was. Can you guys read that?
Casey Schmidt had 3 assists at 91 miles an hour.
Tied for the most by an infielder in a game,
Yep.
tracked by StatCast. It's got a cannon. All right. I'm going to show this. Let me get this thing out of the way. Let me start this over. And then I will let it play.
Turn off the sound.
Wait.
Just click it. There you go.
All right. Now where's the play button here?
Nope. That's the volume. You turn on. Hey, the volume's on.
Look at that play. Look at that play.
Okay, now pause it.
Did you guys see that dive?
Yeah, he dove for it, popped up, chucked it to first.
Did you guys see that?
Was there a loop?
Hold on. Let me play that again.
No, was there a loop to that? Was that a rainbow throw or is that like a laser beam?
Oh yeah, that was over 91 miles an hour.
Casey pitched at San Diego State and threw 91 to 93. I would venture to say, when I hear people say Chapman has a better glove, I've seen Chapman make a few bonehead errors this year, like basic plays. Not to say the guy can't be, has to be perfect, but I think Casey is right there with him glove-wise. And I would love to see Casey be given 2 months straight of at-bats and see what he can do.
Watch this next play. Watch his arm. Watch how he scoops the balls up. It's the next one. Boom.
Woo! That's a
Look at that. Look at that, guys.
Yep.
Look at that. And this is your farm guy you should be excited about. This is a guy you drafted in the second round that is really putting it on a show down at AAA, hitting the ball, fielding. Let's watch one more play here. Same game. Watch the scoop. Shorthand. Boom. Hop, double. Boom. Oh, baby.
Right to his chest, too.
I want to see that first play one more time.
The dive.
Watch this dive, guys. Boom. Gets to his feet. Fires a strike. Guys.
All of them at the chest level, too. No reach. He just sticks the glove out and he gets it. He gets it there.
Guys, you're looking at a perennial Gold Glove talent contender, and you got him locked. I mean, you got him blocked right now, possibly for 3 years, because you can bring him up and play him at shortstop, but his natural position is third base.
Third base. Yeah.
He's been a third baseman. He is excellent defensively. I'm telling you guys, this kid can play third base. And you wanted Matt Chapman because you thought his bat played. And I kept saying throughout the whole offseason, I don't want Matt Chapman. I don't want Matt Chapman, especially with the numbers they were talking about. Did Dan just say Schmidt a gold glove? I did. Yes. But he is a gold glove caliber. He's 1-2 in the minors. And if he played up here, you would see some of the most amazing plays. I'm going to show you another one.
Yep. There you go.
Wow, that's a tough one. That is a top 5 NorCal Sports Network.
Oh my!
I'm going to show you another one. Click.
Oh man! Come on!
Oh
Come
man!
on!
He just hung up on himself.
Where the heck is he? He should be back by now. You know why? He doesn't think he's gone. He's probably playing the clip.
He's probably talking.
I was like, all of a sudden, am I
on? Wow.
Man,
what happened, man? I'm going, I got
another one for you. What?
Okay. And I was gone. I hit the, geez.
Yes,
all right.
You were gone. And you were probably talking to.
I was. I go, I got another one here. Okay. Hope this happened just about a week or so ago down AAA. Let me pull this up. You guys, I don't know if the volume's on. Get ready to yell. Like, rah, 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 rah. Or I can't see where my.
Yeah, I don't see it either.
I don't see my sound bar.
Oh, you're good.
Pitch.
No!
Want to see that again, guys?
Oh, I see where the volume is now. It's at the very bottom.
Is it on?
When it pops up, it's rewinding. It's playing.
First pitch of the 5th inning.
Oh, baby. Oh, baby. I love to show stuff like that because I believe in these youngsters, guys. You may not, you may love your Matt Chapmans out there. And I've been telling you guys that Casey Schmidt can play some third base.
I just really don't understand so many Giants fans' philosophy. Like, if you've been with this team through the championship years, you know the core of that team were homegrown young talent that were given a chance. They had some other free agents that helped out for sure, but the core of the team, the ones that really won those games, won those championships, was our homegrown young talent. So for any of you out there that really goes to bed at night and sleeps and your head hits the pillow and says, man, I feel great about Yaz starting tomorrow, or Chapman starting at third, or Ahmed starting at short. Like, you forgot quickly what happened. Do you remember Game 4 of the 2010 World Series against the Rangers? Giants were up 2-0. They went back to Texas. Texas won Game 3. They were getting momentum. The Giants sent a 20-year-old kid out there. A kid out there. And they believed in him because they didn't care that the moment was too big for him. And Bumgarner shut down one hell of a hitting team in their home ballpark. And before you start complaining and saying the whole, well, that was Bumgarner. We didn't know that was Bumgarner at that time. We didn't. It's easy to say that shit now. Oh, well, that's a dominant pitcher. Yeah, we know that now in 2024. At the time that he pitched, we were like, what is Bochy doing sending this kid out there in a swing game? You have to have confidence in your young talent. And Schmidt, Luciano, Matos, and Ramos, they have talent. They have talent. I don't know if all 4 of them are going to hit, but I know sure as hell that the guys that are playing above them right now, they're not bringing you a World Series, man. I don't think they're even bringing you a playoff. So what are we doing here? If these guys are not even going to bring you a playoff team and they're struggling, and most of them are, then why would you not trust the young guys and want them up? Because I know for, the Giovannis and the Roberts, I know you're true Giants fans, and I respect your love for the team. Are you going to go out and buy a Chapman jersey or an Ahmed jersey and wear it around proudly? Or are you going to wear a young guy's jersey that like has a future with the team? That's the biggest thing. We don't know if any of these guys are going to be here. Aren't you sick of that? Like year to year crap? Don't you want to know that you got some guy in there that's going to be there for the next 5 to 8 years? I sure as hell do.
Aaron Loss says, Dan, do you think Melvin was in the wrong for wanting Chapman? I do. I don't think Chapman was the answer to, the Giants were playing, I think the Giants think they have a shot to win the whole thing this year. And I think they thought Chapman would have a good year, opt out. And I don't think Chapman's going to opt out because he may not get a contract the way baseball's going.
Especially after this last year. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I think he's going to say, well, he's going to look at it and go like Conforto did. Do you think Michael Conforto would have a contract this year? He might have got a minor league deal. He might have got a $5 million deal for 1 year, right? With somebody. But he's got an $18 million deal. So he opted in. And he looking back and go, man, did I ever make the right decision the way guys got squeezed this year? What did Tommy Pham just sign for?
What did he sign for?
I have no idea, but
he was on the World Series team too.
I bet it was for peanuts.
One of the reasons I did not want Melvin as a manager was I knew he had a relationship with Farhan in the past. I didn't want that. And I knew that now I love him bringing over Matt Williams. I'm not going to lie about that. It's old school. But I wanted Stephen Vogt because Stephen Vogt would have been just like coming in, like rebooting, like just, I'm the manager. I'm going to look without any hidden agenda, without Farhan, my relationship with him, without, well, he wants this. I wanted Vogt to come in and just generally look at all the players in spring training and come to a determination, again, who was the best players. Because I think if Vogt was the manager here, I think I don't know if he talks Farhan out of signing Chapman, he probably still would have signed him. But I think he would have said, hey, we got something with Casey. We got to give him a shot. I think he would have fought for him more. Melvin, to me, seems like a guy that is very veteran. I mean, look at how patient he is with the guys he is right now, and that's not going to change. So I think Melvin is more of a veteran manager, and he's kind of like Farhan, and he doesn't trust the rookies that much. So
I think
that's why I wanted Vogt.
Yeah, I think sports overall, Los, is there's a shift happening in sports, and what I'm seeing, and it's been around for a while. It's really nothing new, but you're noticing it more. I think younger guys are that are coming up are more seasoned at an earlier age, whether it's through travel ball and in baseball or basketball, it's AAU and going to different colleges and getting paid now in college, and then they can come out of college with good coaching. You look at the NBA, look at what's happening with OKC in Minnesota. You're seeing the old guard, Curry, Durant, LeBron, they're all out. And you're seeing Anthony Edwards, right? And you're seeing Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, and you're seeing what Denver's doing. Young guys that are coming up and gelling, and you're looking at Boston, they're younger guys, and they're taking over. And the vets that had their years, they can still play the game, but they're not having the success that translates into, domination anymore. And this is why I was against. I mean, I'm looking at this comment from Hiroku. The Giants are in trouble because they gave up picks and international picks for
international money, $1 million bucks,
international money, and
2 picks. This
for Chapman and
second
Snell.
and third rounders,
and they are going to probably have these guys back next year, as a live insurance says. They will come back. Chapman, all he has to do, look what Brandon Belt and say, yeah, I'm opting in, even if he somehow scrapes by his career average. Giants are stuck with him. This is what I was worried about.
Not if they trade him.
I would trade him for a can of corn.
I mean,
whatever you can get to get out of that contract, but I don't know if anybody's going to want him. Maybe the Dodgers would want him for his defense, and the Dodgers can. Chapman would be fine with a good team. He's not a horrible player, but you put him in an offense.
Not at all.
You put him in he's a great defender, and you put him in a lineup like the Dodgers lineup, he's going to be much better production because he's going to see some better pitches because they're going to want to pitch to him. They're not going to want to, the Giant. You don't have to pitch to Chapman much because nobody's on base. And when he is on base, you can get him to strike out. Just make him throw the hard slider that looks like a strike, have it break away. He'll read it as a fastball, and it'll have this tail on it, and he'll be reaching for it and striking out. Let me see. What does Robert say? Dan, you said you wouldn't mind the circumstances were a short-term deal, but I didn't like the opt-out. Now you got opt-outs. I would have signed him to, I said, a 1 or 2 year deal. I would have been fine with, but I'm not even, and that was out of consolation of like, you know what? Just, they're going to sign him. They kept talking. What did we know? One thing that was true the day free agency opened, Chapman was going to be a Giant, right? Did we not say it?
Yeah.
Did we not all say, hey, it's a foregone conclusion, Chapman's coming to the Giants?
Yeah.
And so
no matter what Casey did in spring training per Marty Lurie.
Yeah. So it was kind of like I did say, at that point I finally gave in and said, you know what, if you're going to sign him, just make it a short-term deal. But
if you had a choice, you can only choose one.
That's not true, Giovanni. That is not true. I said I didn't mind the signing at the very end because it was a short-term deal. And then when I figured out it was a three opt-out after each year, you heard what I said. I go, he's going to opt in. I said, you better hope Matt Chapman has a really good year, because if he doesn't, you're stuck with him. That's what I said. You better hope he has a good year. And if I'm the Giants and he stinks, I don't care about the money. I'm eating it.
I'm going to ask you both, and then and obviously this is for the chat as well. I'm going to give you 2 scenarios. You got to choose one. Either Chapman is somehow traded and Casey's just put in as the everyday starter for the rest of the year. That's option 1. Or Yaz and Slater are released, and either Matos or Ramos is the everyday starter in right field. You can only choose one. Would you rather come off of Chapman and have Casey start? Or would you rather come off of Slaz and have Matos or Ramos start? Let the 2 of them compete. May the best man win. Choose one.
Wow.
It's
That's
tough.
a good poll. That'd be a good poll. I know what I would do.
Should I put it out there?
Meh.
We're already.
Yeah, let the chat answer.
Yeah. For me, it's buy Slaz.
Yeah, because you're getting rid of 2.
Yeah, I'm getting rid of 2, and now I can bring up both of Ramos. But you know what? If you really want to do it right,
you do both.
You
try. And you also try and trade. What's his name? Conforto. He has some value. You might be able to get something for Conforto, because on the right team, Conforto would be a stick. And this is what we said last year. Go with the young guys. Imagine an outfield right now of Matos, Ramos, and Lee. It kind of reminds me of Herndon, Matthews, and Maddox.
Ooh, I love it. Love it.
You know, I can remember Jack Clark out there. We had Jack Clark, Gary Maddox, Gary Matthews, Larry Herndon, who came from Detroit. But, you know, we had guys out there that were, you know, all hitting close to 300, some pop, but it was a fun outfield. I mean, I'm even for Wade Meckler. That guy can hit.
You know, Senior makes a good point because Matos and Ramos are still fairly young. Casey Schmidt is getting up there.
Casey's like 25.
Yeah.
He needs to be playing in the major leagues.
Yeah. But that ain't happening anytime soon.
What's Senior's point? I didn't see it. What was it?
He would pick Schmidt over Chapman.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I could see that. I mean, Casey's he's a man. He could play ball. And he's 25.
I think the easier decision, everybody would say, Yaz and Slater, get rid of them, get rid of two guys and start the other guys. But maybe when it's all said and done, like if you got rid of Chapman, who's definitely better than Yaz and Slater, like you're really sending a message. That's the Molina Posey analogy all over again. Because Molina was still a good player, and they said, we're trading you. We're not going to put you on the bench because if the rookie has 3 straight bad games, you're right back in there. No, we're getting rid of you altogether. So if they got rid of Chapman, it would be forced to have KC succeed. And if he struggles, hey, you still got Flores to play a little bit third. You know, yeah. I don't know what is David Villar doing? Is he doing anything down in the minors?
He's doing okay. It's so.
He's probably not going to be with the organization. He had his one chance.
Yeah.
And he did not do well. And you know what, guys? That may be what a lot of these Giants fans are worried about. Well, we gave a young guy in David Villar a chance, and he stunk it up. So let's go to the veteran.
David Villar was a late draft pick, like 10th round or something.
And he had a strong finish to the year, and they said the job is yours the next year. And then he made adjustments, and he tanked. So maybe Giants fans are gun shy about a young guy being given the third base job.
Well, to Giants fans, there's a lot of young guys that have not quite made it.
A lot. Well, and that's fair. And that's absolutely fair.
I mean, what would you have rather had at this point? What would you rather had, J.D. Davis or Matt Chapman? You had Davis signed for a year.
I would have been perfectly okay with the Casey Schmidt, J.D. Davis at third base.
If J.D. Davis was with this club, I think Schmidt would be up here on the bench. I think they would have platooned him.
Well, there's no reason to platoon any of their guys. You're never going to develop guys into everyday players if you platoon them at the major league level.
I know.
I think the best lineup the Giants could have is this. And I haven't even thought this through, so I'm winging it. Jung-Hoo Lee leading off. Luis Matos batting second in right field. Batting third and playing, let's see, who's third? I don't know who could play third.
Who's in left? Is it Ramos or is it Conforto?
Yeah, I'm putting Ramos in left.
Okay.
I mean, I might put Luciano at third. And fourth, I guess you got to go with Soler as your DH. Sometimes he's got to hit fifth. I'll put Ramos in left field. Sixth, I'm going to put give me Wade at first base. Seventh, give me Estrada at short. Eighth, Bailey. Ninth, what position am I missing?
Estrada.
I had Estrada at seventh in
third base. Is Schmidt?
Yeah, bat Casey down at ninth at third base. You know, I would do something like that. And you know what? I'd just let these young guys develop, and I would have not worried about trying to be a playoff team. But you know what? You're going to be a playoff team in the next year or so. with the pitching, and you're going to get guys that are going to. I mean, you look what they're doing down in Sacramento. That team, I'll take the Sacramento lineup over this lineup. I will.
Yeah.
I would rather watch the Sacramento lineup, especially when Meckler comes back. Oh, I forgot Bailey. Thank you. That's who I was missing.
You said Bailey. You said he was batting eighth.
Oh, okay. Bailey's 8th. Yeah, okay. Bailey was 8th, Schmidt 9th. I think you got young guys all around the diamond. Probably your oldest guy in the field is Wade and Estrada, right?
Yeah.
I mean, give me those. I got some speed. I still have some power. I got power with Luciano. I got some power with Ramos and Soler. Those are 3 guys. Matos will give you an occasional pop. He might get you 20 homers if you give him the chance to play every day. Your outfield would be, setting the table would be Lee. Matos would be a good number 2 hitter. And man, I think you have the makings of something to build on. Is it gonna make the playoff? Probably not. But I don't think this team's gonna make the playoffs either. And that's the point.
Yeah. You know what's so sad in reading some of the comments, a lot of the comments is, I'm not sold on Schmidt. I'm not sold on Luciano. I'm not sold on Ramos. So instead of like not having confidence in the young guy because you don't know what they bring, it could be really high, it could be really low. They settle. It's the conservative way to think. They're an extent. Some of these fans that are saying these comments, they're an extension of Farhan. They're Farhan's relatives, basically. I'm sorry to say, but this is how Farhan thinks, like conservatively. No risking, no risk it at all. No risk it, no biscuit. They would rather settle for, well, he's okay, than the higher upside of a young guy. And if he fails, he fails. Like, what are we failing? Again, we're not talking about Chapman and these other guys you want to hold on to. They're not bringing you a World Series title. They're not. If this team goes to the playoffs, it's not going to be because of them. It's going to be because of that pitching staff. Let's be real. Let's give credit where credit's due. So don't be scared. Young guys have helped win championships for 100 years in the game of baseball. Go down every World Series champion, and I can show you a rookie or a second-year player that made a big – wasn't Jeremy Pena? Wasn't he the MVP of the World Series a couple years ago? Was he a rookie? Shortstop?
Pena.
Was that Pena?
Oh, for the Astros?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. That
Was he MVP? Was he MVP of the World Series?
He sure was.
Was he an older guy, veteran, or was he a young guy?
Young.
Yeah. Barry Musicland says, I'm wrong on the Chapman. Giants have buyouts. Check your facts. I don't know. Do they? I looked it up, and this is what it says here. Chapman gets a $2 million signing bonus and $16 million salary this year.
With a $2 million buyout.
And his agreement includes a 17-player option for 25 with a $2 million buyout. That means if he wants, the Giants can't buy him out, he gets to leave.
Oh, okay. So because it's not a mutual option.
No, I don't think. Yeah, I can look up I don't think it's a player. I don't think the Giants have an
It's
option.
not a club option because otherwise it'd be a mutual option, right?
Correct. Let me look up Cott's salary and look up that.
He gets $2 million. It's up to him, but it's up to him. He could say,
I think it's all under his control.
Right. I want out, but you got to give me $2 million.
Right. Exactly. I'm looking here at Cott's. It's 19 million for 24, 17, 18. And then there's an option in 27 that maybe that's the club option. I don't think the Giants have, I don't see Farhan or Scott Boras at all agreeing to a deal that gives the Giants an opportunity to cut him loose without getting any money. I think I'm correct on that, Bear. If I'm wrong, show it to me. Just give me a link, what you found, and I'll put it up. I'll gladly say I'm wrong, but I don't think Matt Chapman holds all the cards.
Giovanni, you asked where Jeremy Pena was after my comment that he helped win a World Series and won MVP. There's a thing called the internet. You might want to use it. Sitting 327 right now. Checkmate.
What did he say? Oh, about who Pena?
He said, "What's Pena doing now?" Sitting 327.
Jeez, yeah, some guys just don't.
Yeah, just some guys like veterans. I love veterans too, but I love them in our military forces. That's who I love, veterans.
Yes.
I love Eric. I love all our vets, man. Thank you for your service.
Yeah, that's one area you don't want to go.
Most admiration I have for veterans, and on my team, I like them sprinkled in. But I also like young guys too. So, homegrown guys. That's just me.
I was thinking about this earlier before this comment, and I thought to myself about, everybody said, "Oh, Farhan won the Chapman deal. Boras really blew it. Boras really blew it. He counted on Chapman getting the deal. Did Boras really blow it? He got him basically 3-year deal, and he's got 3 1-year deals. And if he opts out, he gets paid more. He gets a $2 million, whatever. But if he stays, I see with the way baseball went this year, I think Matt Chapman is with the Giants for the next 3 years, or they release him. I don't think anybody's going to take that contract on.
Dan, if you had to compare rosters between the Guardians and the Giants, who has a more talented roster?
Pretty close.
Reason I say that is, who's the manager of the Guardians?
Stephen Vogt. I like Stephen Vogt. I
like him. I wanted him as the manager.
I don't think he fits with Farhan. He's got too much charisma. He's got too much character of, having fun. These guys are all just toe the line. The Giants need an infusion of energy, of a new perspective. I'm going to say this again, and I've said it before. I don't like saying these things. I really don't. I don't get like all this big jolt of saying negative things about people. I really don't. I don't enjoy it. I say it because it's the truth. I believe it to be the truth. If you think I get joy out of ripping Farhan, I don't. Life's too short to hate on people. I just
disappointment is the better word.
Yeah, I don't want to dislike what their job is, the way they're doing. I want to come out and say, man, I love what Farhan's doing. Man, he is Max. You don't know me, then of course you do, Dan. You can say what you want. I don't really like saying it because I don't like to downgrade other people just to downgrade them. But this is a professional job, and Alive says, I dislike his performance. I don't think he's the right man for the job. I don't think he's done the Giants franchise well. I think the club is boring as all get out to watch, and he's been the captain of it for 6 seasons now. I don't see anything getting much better. I see hope, but the hope is getting squashed. I see guys like Matos and Luciano and Ramos and Fitzgerald and Schmidt, and I don't see them even trying to play them. And that's what I would give credit to Farhan. I want to like this team more than you guys realize, but it's hard to like a team that brings in players that are beyond their prime and they're not going to be here a long period of time. And so who do you get behind? The one guy you can actually get behind right now is Jung-Hoo Lee, because he's here for at least 4 years before he can opt out. So you get excited about that. I don't get if you know you sign Shohei, I'd be pretty excited. You know, that would be.
Hey Max, we crap on them
cool.
because of their play, not because of their personality. Not them as a people. It's what they do on the field, which is nothing.
Is that Max?
Take a look.
Is that Max Rizzuto?
I don't know. Take a look at their numbers. Just go take a look. See what Slater's doing and see what the Yaz is doing. And you see why.
You know what? I've interviewed
Crap
Austin Slater. He's a nice man. I like him. Yaz, he's a great guy.
Yep.
We're not attacking their character. We're attacking their talent on the field.
Nothing personal.
You know, Estrada, great guy. Duvall, great guy. Ramos, Matos, all great guys. Casey, great guy. Lamont Wade, you know, love to break bread with that guy. Just a really fun guy. Got some great personality. All these guys.
By all accounts, Barry Bonds, according to the media and a lot of people with the team, thought that he was the biggest jerk possible. Would you rather have Barry Bonds in your outfield, or would you rather have a nice guy, Mike Yastrzemski, in your lineup?
Yeah,
for baseball,
yeah,
not to be your best friend.
Yeah, and I don't have anything against these players personally, but we're talking about job performance. Okay, we're talking about entertainment. Do you want to go pay and watch a boring, crappy movie and some actors that are not that great, and you walk out of there and you just go, man, that was the worst movie I ever saw? Or are you going to say, well, those guys, you know, they deserve another shot, I'm going back? You know, I mean, I've seen enough of this show. This isn't 2024 we're getting on. I've been talking about this for the last year the show, that once we started, Yaz and Slater are on their way down, and you keep bringing them back, and you keep bringing them back, and you bring them back again and again. And when you don't have to, it's called non-tender. Okay. You didn't have to tender Yaz for $7.9 million. You didn't have to tender Austin Slater for $4 million. You had other options. You had Luis Matos. You had Wade Meckler. You had Elliot Ramos. You had
Farhan said after the end of the season that he wished he played him more. Out of Farhan's mouth.
We focus on the negatives because there's not a lot to talk about that's positive, Giovanni. You tell me what's positive about this team. The pitching staff. You want to sit there and we can talk about the pitching for an hour and a half and say it's one of the best pitching staffs in baseball, but they're not hitting. There's two parts to the game, Giovanni, and you just can't talk about one and not the other.
Yes, Giovanni. How many runs did they score today, Giovanni? How many hits did they have, Giovanni? This is the post-game show, right? And we're also talking about what they've been doing throughout these last 30 games. Come on, man. Come on.
No, this is
what the hell? That didn't happen today, Giovanni, and we talked about it during that post-game.
That's positive. Yeah, we talked about it the day of the positive. You
come on, dude.
But you're the same guy that says you don't want to go back to the World Series things, but you want to talk about 2021. All you want to talk about is the positives. The Giants haven't made the playoffs but one time since 2017. Farhan's been in charge since 2019, Giovanni. This is his sixth season. They've had one winning season. One. Uno. Not dos or tres or cuatro, cinco or seis like the Dodgers, but uno.
Tell him.
Oh, man. You got red.
Gee. Come on. One winning season, and you're the fifth largest market in all of baseball, and you can put one winning season together, and somehow you got a job for the next 2 years after this. Gee, I wish I had that kind of job security. I wish I could do nothing and collect millions of dollars and just I work for myself, but if I work for some manager, say, hey, it's all right, man. Hey, I'm trying to put together some sales. They're coming, gee.
We always say that this is a business and it's not a game anymore. It's a business. But like in today's pro sports, if you're a coach or you're a general manager and you have 7 seasons with the team and you have one winning season, more times than not, you're fired. Like there are head coaches that have one bad year and they're gone. One.
Hey, let me tell you something. And yeah, I'm going to end this show because you guys want to keep going. Go ahead. I've got to get running.
We've already gone 2 hours.
Yeah, we're going to end this. But let me just tell you something, guys. There was a man named Gabe Kapler that managed a team called the Philadelphia Phillies. He had 2 seasons, and he was fired by the owner, and he hired a guy by the name of Rob Thompson. Rob Thompson has taken them to the World Series, to the National League. Did they make it to the NLCS? CS. And this year they're rolling again. That same Gabe Kapler was rehired by a guy named Farhan Zaidi, and he kept him for 4 seasons, and he brought him 1 winning season. And let's see, 20, 21, 22, 20, 4 seasons. And he didn't even want to fire him last year. You could see he was shaking in the press conference.
Yes.
And he was like almost in tears because he didn't want to let him go when the man was completely lost the club, lost the clubhouse, but Farhan wanted to keep him, but it was forced to fire him to keep his own job. What does that say for the guy? He didn't even want to fire a guy because he liked him so much, and he just can't run a business.
The day after Kapler got fired, we all said, led by Eric, to be honest, it had to be a tag team firing. Mm-hmm. It had to be both of them. It had to be both of them to start fresh, because a new GM coming in probably doesn't hire Melvin, probably gives the younger guys a chance. As soon as they kept Farhan, all 3 of us said, this is going to be pretty much the same thing. Yep. They might take out this guy, take out that guy, and replace this guy and replace this guy. But the culture, because he's the man in charge, is not going to change. And 30 games in, we're about where we were last year, under 500 team.
Well, we'll close with this. Giovanni, if you're a Latino, you understand uno, while you're Dodgers to the south.
Yeah, if you're a Latino, Giovanni, then you should want Ramos and Matos in right field over Slater and Yaz.
Exactly. Yeah, get some and Luciano coming up, and get some fire and some emotion.
Fire. That's another thing, guys. This team is so damn boring. You look around all of baseball and you see them hitting home runs, and they're putting hats on.
I know.
And the Mariners got their little Aquaman thing that they got, and they're just having a good time in the dugout. And the Giants hit a home run, and it's like, that's it.
Yeah,
boring.
There's no
boring as hell, man.
Yeah. I mean,
it still is entertainment. It still is entertainment.
Yeah,
you can win and be entertaining. But
Giants.
damn, if you lose and you're boring, that's double getting screwed.
Oh,
damn,
double.
You watched the shitty movie and you had a shitty meal after for dinner.
Yeah, exactly, man.
That's a different kind of double header.
That's like, don't drop the soap in the shower. Don't drop the soap in the shower, baby.
For real.
Gosh. Yeah, that's a double whammy.
Hey, Cryptic Trader, they do have lights though. Like they do try to make it a nightclub. Too bad. Like that nightclub is like playing some crappy music, man.
Yeah.
It's all
Yeah.
good.
Hey, I said it earlier, guys. Jose Abreu, Houston Astros, went down to the minor leagues today, and Austin Slater still has a job with the Giants. Wow. That tells you the difference in organizations. Astros they're not waiting around. They're losing, they're struggling. They're going to we got to get this thing moving, and we can't let this guy be in the lineup. He's struggling too much, but we respect him too much. Does he want to be released, or will he take a minor league assignment? Because he didn't have to take a minor league assignment because he's out of options, but he agreed to it. So I would offer the same thing to Slater.
The problem is, I'm telling you, it's the same scenario with Kepler and Farhan. You got to get rid of Yaz with Slater. Otherwise, it doesn't mean nothing.
Close with the pitcher. Let's get rid of them both. We're out of here, guys. We need to get rid of both of these guys because they're connected. They're Siamese twins, man. They're connected.
They have to both go out. They have to. Getting rid of one of them isn't going to do nothing. They both have to go. They have to.
All right, guys. They have to go. That's it for tonight. We'll be back tomorrow night after the ball game. Again, we'll be back after 8 o'clock, probably 8:15. We feel like even though the game ends about 7, we know that that's the best time for most of everybody to join us. So thanks for joining. Thanks for sticking with us. Giovanni, we're having fun with you. We appreciate you being here every night, taking the hard shots. You did have a great comment tonight about the East Coast fans. And we're fair. We tell you, we'll rip the Giants. We'll also tell you the Giants are looking good. We'll also tell you when you make a clown comment, we'll point it out. But you say something good, we're going to point it out. We're not.
That was a good comment, Giovanni. Much love. But like Slater, you're hitting about 100. So 1 out of 10 comments. Get it up to 300, buddy, and we'll be all right. 300.
There we go. All right, everybody. You guys have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow night.